One of the best known groups of cultivation terraces in Scotland is situated on the west facing slope that rises steeply from the left bank of the Line Water about 1100 yards south of Romanno Bridge. 14 terraces are still in good preservation, and a fragment of a 15th can be seen at the south end just above the modern road. The road itself has probably destroyed at least one or more terrace, and there are traces of yet another on the west side of the road, beyond the north end of the main group. At the present time, the longest terrace measures 460 feet, but it is evident that the group as a whole is only a portion of what was once a more extensive system, which has been saved by the steepness of the ground from obliteration by later cultivation and then framed by plantations as a kind of curiosity. Alexander Gordon records that in his day, 1726, the terraces extended for a whole mile, not unlike a large amphitheatre, but the existence of intervening valleys renders it unlikely that the terraces at Romanno Bridge and Whiteside Hill ever formed part of this system. The most notable features of the Romanno terraces are the steepness of the risers and the narrowness of the treads, which give them a step-like appearance. They are not, however, strictly horizontal, tending to rise in the centre and fall towards both ends, nor are the measurements uniform. The treads vary in breadth from 3 feet to 10 feet, and the risers range from 2 feet to 22 feet in height. See the terrace in here? And this is the terracing that was mentioned in the book. You can see it must be at least 6 feet, 7 feet in between each gap. You see here, pretty steep as well, certain parts. But at last I found the ancient agricultural terracing, and this is ancient, there's no doubt about it. It's all man-made. This has been dug out by man, and it's hardly mentioned in any history books, but you can see the tiers, the rows. Aye, pretty cool. Individual risers also show considerable variation in height from one end to the other, and the southern ends of the 6th and 7th terraces actually converge. Excavation has shown the soil to be a loam with a more sandy subsoil resembling that on the adjacent unterraced hillside. The name Romanno means the monk's wrath, but in the absence of any specific evidence, it is not possible to accept Watson's suggestion that the cultivation terraces owe their origin to the canons of Holyrood. R.C. AHMS 1967 visited 1963, an outstanding group of cultivation terraces. And it goes up, still goes up for maybe another 100 feet up the hill. It's huge. I'll climb the hill, guys, and give you a better view. You can see these obvious steps, these terraces. It's pretty obvious here. So guys, we're at the top of the ancient terracing, down just off Romanno Bridge. There's a place called Romanno Bridge about half a mile. That's where I parked my car. Just walk down the road. This is the top. I love these places. Even in weather like this, I love these places. It just adds more to the environment. This kind of weather. But we'll go. You see, this is the very top tier of the terracing. You see how high it is? In 1726, Alexander Gordon wrote that these terraces extended for a whole mile, not unlike a large amphitheatre, and one cannot but wonder whether the fragments at Romanno Bridge and at Whiteside Hill were not originally part of the same system. The present group of west-facing terraces is one of the best known in Scotland. 14 are still well preserved, save from the latter cultivation by the steepness of the slope. They lie between 222 metres and 268 metres, the longest now measuring 140 metres. Generally, the terraces are narrow and the rises steep, but though they appear as steps, they rise towards the centre, falling away towards each end. The sandy subsoil is similar to that of the adjacent hillside. Excavation showed it to be covered, however, with a loam built up through intense cultivation. Though unproven, the suggestion has been made that the terraces originated with the canons of Holyrood who, in the mid-12th century, were granted a cacuret of land, roughly the land worked by a team of 8 oxen during a year, together with pasturage for 1,000 sheep at Rathmannock, the monk's Rather farm. Certainly they are similar to the terraces on the slopes of Arthur's Seat near to the Abbey in Edinburgh. Perhaps the Romanno name and terraces relate, however, to an early religious settlement of the Celtic Church. The terraces themselves are notoriously difficult to date, and in general terms could be anything from 300 to 1300 or more years old. Hello people, that was 2 articles taken from Canmore, one from 1967 and one from 1985. I'll leave a link in the description. I just think it's criminal that there's not even a signpost for this place. It's obviously one of the best preserved and one of the best examples of ancient cultivated terraces in Scotland, and there's not even a signpost for it, people. And this is what keeps bringing me back to the place. I just think it's such an amazing sight, as you can see here. I think we should at least preserve this. There's a lot more of these terraces around Scotland, but if this is the best preserved one, we should be protecting it. This should be a listed ancient monument at least.